And how do you do, Buckers? How the heck are you? So I've got a Sam Adams Boston Lager in a Sam Adams Boston Lager glass. I love it when a plan comes together. So this week's episode is going to be on the mix pack, or more specifically, the holiday mix pack. I found this one. It was about 14 bucks at a local beer store for a 12 pack. That's not bad. Works to about 7 bucks 6 pack. So that's a deal. It has a chocolate bock, the old Fezziwig, a sparkling ale, which I've never had before, holiday porter, winter lager, and the Boston Lager, their flagship beer. I didn't get on the website to look up any additional information. I thought I'd just wing it this time. 4.9%, the beer that helped start a revolution. Yeah, I don't know how you can deny that. I think a lot of people are kind of hard on this beer these days. Oh, very nice. When you describe it as meh, I think that's wrong. Yeah, you really can't deny that Boston Brewing Company, the Boston Lager specifically, really helped get that craft beer revolution going. They weren't the first, but they really kind of spurred things on a bit. You know, the truth is, I don't drink a lot of this beer anymore, and by today's standards, it is rather tame. Even saying that, it should never be described as meh. For me, that term, that term shouldn't be used at all. But if you're going to use it when a beer is flawed. This beer isn't flawed. Maybe it doesn't have the flavors you like. Maybe it doesn't it doesn't have the flavor profile that you're looking for. Maybe it's a little tame for your taste buds. That doesn't mean it's meh. This is not flawed. It does when a beer does exactly what it's supposed to do, you can't or you shouldn't knock it down. The nose is very herbal to me. And again, the flavors are tame by today's standards, but it is very crisp, it is very clean. It does what this type of lager is supposed to do, so you shouldn't describe it in a way to demean it. That is my personal opinion. Because there was a time when, I remember the first time I had this beer, to be honest with you. I thought, wow, man, that's pretty good. But, it was in my early 20s, and I was primarily a quantity drinker at the time and drank a lot of the macros that were available at the time. But when I had some money, in '87, I moved up to Washington State. It was the first time I'd had Red Hook ESB. The Red Hook ESB was their flagship, but they had another one up there, Red Hook Rye. And the first time I had that, I was just blown away. Every time I got paid, I would buy a 6-pack because that's when I had a little extra money, and then from then on it'd be cheap beer. But I'd buy that one 6-pack every paycheck because the beer was just that good. This is kind of one of those beers along that same vein. When it first came out, I was actually too young when New Albion hit, but when this one hit, I wasn't. So I do remember thinking, wow, that's a fine beer. And again, it helped craft beer become what it is today. Oh, yeah, baby. That's what Daddy like. If you've watched any of my videos on Sam Adams beers, you might know or notice that I've been a little hard on them. I think at some point they made a decision to be likable rather than to be cutting edge, and I've kind of been hard on them for that. I remember, I think it was about '05, they had this mixed pack out. It's 4 beers, not exactly mixed pack, but it was their special. And I can't even remember what they were now, but I just remember thinking, wow, this is amazing. And then it was right about after that, not long after that, that I had their Hallertau Pilsner that was fantastic. And they were one of the first that really did an Imperial Pilsner, and they knocked it out of the park. And it was actually too much for a lot of taste buds at the time because it is big. It is very big, big, big. But since then, they kind of, it seems like at some point they made a decision, let's just stay middle of the road. Yeah, even their barrel age collection, the barrel room collection, whatever they call it, they're good, but it seems like they still don't, they're afraid to go further than what everybody else is doing. They're not doing anything different. That's where I've kind of been hard on them. Then again, I guess there's something to be said for just being likable. So this is my introductory video for the rest of the mix pack. I'm going to come back. I'm going to do the rest of the 5, and I hope you have the energy to watch the rest of me. And how do you do? So number 2 on the list. I really want to try this one. There's sparkling ale, and as you can see, it's very sparkling. No, this is not a dirty glass. It's a very clean glass. I made sure of it, but it is a very sparkling brew. So let me read from their bottle here. When we experiment, we never look at beer style the same way twice. Our take on this golden bubbly brew combines noble hops and pale malts to create a slightly floral aroma and dry finish, perfect for the holiday season no matter what you are celebrating. I'm kind of wondering if they're trying to make this kind of champagne-like, much like their Infinium. This is 4.8%, much lower alcohol version of, maybe more accessible, and not as overhyped and overpriced as the Infinium was, in my opinion. Yeah, they describe it as a floral aroma. Sure, why the hell not? Certainly does have some sparkling wine notes on the nose. Kind of feeling some pear myself, but maybe that's just me. Let's take a drink and see what we got. Wow, wow, that one kind of caught me by surprise. Wow, so bitch. Wow, wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The flavors aren't necessarily wow, to be honest. I mean, it's not a big in-your-face flavor, but it comes at you in such a way that you go, wow. Yeah, I'm using a fluted glass because it says sparkling ale. It's a grouse. So a while back, my wife found a set. Came with a pitcher and 4 looked like kind of whiskey neat glasses. They had game birds on them. Well, at another flea market, she found 3. She couldn't get all 4, but she found 3 of this type of glass that had the same game birds, part of the same set, I imagine. Yeah, it's interesting. It actually feels sort of like a beer wine hybrid. It does finish kind of clean. I won't say tart though. I was going to say like a sparkling wine. Many sparkling wines finish slightly very dry and tart. This one doesn't finish quite that dry. It doesn't have that tartness, but it does sort of have that feel about it. Yeah, this is a very likable beer. I could see folks. I could see giving this to your, your uncle that drinks only Bud Light at the family gatherings. Give him something different. See what he thinks. It certainly has more flavor than the macro counterpart. It is certainly a better crafted beer, and it certainly has better ingredients uh, than the macros. But I don't know if it's going to overwhelm him. And I think a lot of folks that drink those macros on a daily basis and drink nothing else, they don't want anything with this much. You don't want anything with a lot of flavor. So it doesn't have an abundance of flavor, but the flavor that it has. This is very nice. It sits very clean on your palate. Oh, yeah. Yeah, truthfully, you could drink this by the gallon and not know. The box just says 4.8%, golden and bubbly, perfect for the holiday season. But yeah, I mean, wow. I kind of wish they had this in 6-packs or 12-packs by itself, because I would bring this to holiday gatherings just to bring to my other family members that aren't as craft beer crazy as I am. It is incredibly easy to drink. As I polished off what was in that glass rather easily. So, wow, that's nice. Sam Adams, I kind of, like I said on the Boston Lager, I had the Boston Lager for, as you know. Then I've been kind of hard on them for not stepping out of the box, and then here they go. This one definitely is out of the box a little bit. My hat's off to them. This is a fine beer. I'll be back with the next one. Man, how do you do? So I'm back with number 3 of 6 beers here. The Sam Adams Winter Lager, 5.6%. Festive and spicy with ginger, orange peel, and freshly ground cinnamon. Thus say right on the bottle, brewed with orange peel, cinnamon, and ginger. German brewers may have been onto something centuries ago when they created rich Bock beers for the winter. Our brew is a dark wheat Bock, subtly spiced with fresh ground cinnamon, ginger, and orange peel for a deep, smooth flavor. You know, I get a little... Look at that color. It's got a beautiful, almost a ruby color to it. It bothers me when folks say, well, I don't like lagers. Like, all lagers are exactly the same. There are so many different styles that it just seems ignorant as hell to say, I don't like lagers at all. It just doesn't make sense. And this is clearly a holiday meant for holidays, or meant for the holidays, meant for... I don't know. Thanksgiving, Christmas, if you're an American, who knows, whatever you want to celebrate if you're somewhere else. Christmas, I suppose. The aromas are beautiful. It is bright. You certainly can feel that orange peel, cinnamon, and ginger. The only thing it's missing is cranberries. I know they do a cranberry lambic, and I wish that lambic would be in here instead of the Boston Lager, but again, I understand why they do it, because it's their flagship beer. But, you know, maybe you ought to start putting cranberries in this winter lager. So you got everything, man. Or sweet potatoes, or add something to it. Gosh darn it. Oh, yeah, it's actually very nice. It's actually better than I was expecting, to be honest with you. Again, I mean, I've said before, I've been kind of hard on the folks at Sam Adams in the past for doing kind of middle-of-the-road beers. I don't know if this is an out-of-the-parker for me, but at just checking the aroma and having the first sip, I'm going to say it's a solid double. It's good. You do feel all the spices. They kind of dance on your tongue a bit, but the finish is a lager finish. It is dry, it is crisp, it is clean, which is what a lager is supposed to do. 5.6%. I didn't look up on the website to get IBUs. Does it really matter? Yeah, good holiday beer. Yeah, this is one with the spices. It could pair with your Thanksgiving or Christmas meal. It would also be fine after the meal. You could be fine before the meal. Have it anytime. Have it when you're... bring a mixed pack to your Christmas party, you know? What the hell? It's pretty solid. I don't know that it's remarkable, but it's very solid. Again, I don't think it's flawed. And that's kind of what I'd like to keep pointing out, is just because something works or doesn't work for your taste buds, if it doesn't work for your taste buds, it's not necessarily a bad beer. Look for flaws. Is it constructed wrong? I don't think this is constructed wrong in any way. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. If these are the flavors you're looking for, I think you're going to like it. I'm not, you know, one of those guys that's really crazy about a whole lot of spice, but I understand what they're trying to do here. I know why they're doing it, so I kind of feel, okay, does it make sense? Yes, the beer makes sense. It tastes good. There's nothing wrong with it. And there you go. I'm not going to say a beer is bad or that it's meh just because it doesn't necessarily fit my wheelhouse. That's what irritates me a lot of beer reviews, a lot of beer folks in general, is that if it doesn't necessarily work for them, it's a bad beer. Well, no, is it flawed? Is there something wrong with it, or do your taste just look for something different? I think this is a fine beer. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not flawed in any way. The Boston Lager is what it is. It's a solid lager. The sparkling ale actually kind of blew me away. I mean, not that it has a whole lot of flavor going on, but it's very interesting and very likable, very enjoyable. This is the winter lager. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, and that's all for now.